And another game between Hrae and 458. 458 who's playing the teal protoss instead of the Terran. Goes back to his usual main race that he plays 99% of the time. The teal protoss, 458 in the top left corner. Top right corner, sorry, my bad. And he's playing against Hrae, who's playing in the top middle spot as the purple Terran. So both players are back on their main races. I hope this will be... I mean, last game had some exciting stuff going on, but I hope this is a more exciting game than the previous one, as both players will be playing on their main races. Although I must admit that 458 had a way better turn than I expected him to have. Or maybe it was because Hrae did a build that I think isn't that good for 1 versus 1. But it's up for grabs, nobody knows. We'll just have to see them go at it again some other time on TTP. But back to this game, because this is a PvT game, where 458 is the Protoss, and 458 is known as the Protoss Sage. He is the specialist. He makes the strategies and the builds that everyone uses for fastest map, Protoss 1 versus 1. Starts off with the Nexus, no gateways, straight into the Nexus. That's already a slight deviation from usual. There is a Forge. Not throwing down the gateway just yet. We will be seeing a pylon in his choke. There it goes. He throws down the pylon inside his choke. There's very early gas after the 2 barracks from Hrae. So Hrae is not going for 3 barracks, he's going for 2 barracks. And early academy maybe. But first there is the depot. He's going to rely on 2 barracks to micro and survive. There comes the very early academy, so that he can go for fire bats or medics to help aid in fighting off whatever the Protoss, or in this case 458, will throw at him. Was mining from the gas with 3 SCBs. There is the first gateway for 458. There is a gas, another gas, 2 gases for 458. And we'll be seeing a cybernetic score once this gateway finishes, and there are 2 cannons out at the choke. But the choke gets scouted by Hrae, and Hrae is now going to take down this cannon. And now he's going to take down the probe. He's going to try to walk into the base before 458 blocks him. It's a very smart and good pull off from 458, pulling the probes to the choke, not losing a single probe, and forcing Hrae to lose a single marine, and the second marine was actually just an accident. So Hrae is going to lift off his barracks. That's really nice to see. I'm sure that 458 will not expect this at all, and he will land the barracks just outside of the vision of any buildings that 458 has. So this is a really good timing on the liftoff. But there is a single Zealot coming out, and the Zealot is most certainly going to scout the front of Hrae's base. So, oh wait, 458 just preemptively throwing down that pylon on the side, so now he can see those barracks as both landing inside of his base. But 458, Hrae is going to try to manage to land both barracks. He's going to try to produce fire bats regardless, and there's already 2 factories being produced inside of Hrae's base. And he's 4 marines at the front, and there is a single fire bat, but there is also already a cannon at the nexus of 458, so this fire bat alone will be able to do much. He's going to try to do it with 2 fire bats, going from 2 different directions, but 458 blocks the fire bats really nicely with his probes. So that little liftoff ends up being a failed attempt, as he's pulling off probes again to block the fire bats from having access to the probe stack. And he has to lift off. Oh, he loses a barrack, he doesn't lift off. He's not lifting the second barrack, which means that he won't be able to make any more factories inside of it. Please lift up this. Yes, he lifts it up before it can go down to the Zealots, hammering away at it with their swords. Although, I mean, it would be more like stabbing instead of hammering away at it with their swords. That is a Spaceballs reference. Unintentionally, because my pronunciation of the word sword is just so bad. The swords. Anyway, there's a little of Dune. There is a Tempest Archive coming down. There are 2 robotic facilities being thrown down at the front, as is usual. So Even though the start is different, he builds into the same path that we usually see. And Vulture Patrol Micro. He's chasing the Zealots away. Zealots get pulled back to the cannons, and the mines get upgraded yet. I don't see the mines being upgraded right now. But I also don't know if he already upgraded the mines. And there is Choke for Hrae. Armory already upgrading the tank weapons. That's really nice to see, the very early, really early tank weapon upgrade. There's a siege mode, 2 tanks being produced, 2 Goliaths. So he's going to use his Goliaths as anti-drop. That's interesting to see. I hope he will be able to respond in time to focus down the shuttles with his Goliaths. There's 2 more CCs being added on. There is a scan depot lifting off the barrack instead of using it as defense at the front. He's using it as a tool to look over the wall with the barracks, giving his tanks a little bit more vision and the ability to shoot over the wall. But there, he has a scan, but no engineering bay and no turrets inside his base. So 458 is going to drop these Dark Templars inside of Hrae's base, and Hrae will probably not be able to react to it accordingly. But 458 now, Hrae now knows that Dark Templars have been dropped inside his base. Does he have enemy for a scan? He has enemy for a scan, and the Dark Templars are trying to run away. A single Dark Templar gets away, and the tanks that he just set up at the corner of his base to shoot over the wall get taken down by the Dark Templars, and this Dark Templar is now going to take down SCVs. The 2 tanks have gone down, the SCV has gone down, and how much energy does he have on the scan? 37, 38, 39. It's going to take a while. Wait, he has a second scan already. The second scan has been finished, and he scans Dark Templars, and the Dark Templar runs away from the scan range and vision and goes back into hiding. But the second scan is now on 49 and 50, so it's gonna scan the last Dark Templar and take down the last Dark Templar. Anytime now, please use your scan. So yeah, there is the scan, and the Dark Templar goes down, and he's gonna finish the engineering bay now, so he can throw down turrets to help him defend against the drop, make it harder for they can fire those shuttles in. Hrae, in the meanwhile, has not been spending any minerals at all while he was chasing those Dark Templars around inside his base. But now he's spending again, although he's quite low on gas. There is a drop flying in on the side. He's just going to drop those units on the side there. He's trying to he doesn't have shuttle speed. He gets the storm off on the SCVs of Hrae. So Hrae didn't pull off his SCVs to safety. He loses all of his mining SCVs to a storm drop. He's just 4 SCVs left on his minerals, and he's crying his eyes out now. That's really unfortunate. He did a really good job of focusing down some of these shuttles, but the one shuttle that he didn't focus down had the Templar in it, and the Templar gets a really beautiful storm up on the minerals. The Hrae now has a huge lead over Hrae, although the supply count doesn't really reflect that all that well. He has a way bigger base, way more minerals spent, and the ability to just keep pumping and shitting out units as fast as he can. And Hrae is now, he knows that there is the shuttle out because he saw it with the SCV there, and he's chasing it around, but he decides to turn around and let the This is really, really unfortunate for 458 because that Reaver is gonna get a beautiful shot up on the SCVs. And the Reaver shot chases the SCVs all the way, but the Reaver shot, the Scarab doesn't explode. Oh, he killed 2 SCVs there. That was really close because if the Scarab had hit the tank, he would have hit a lot of the SCVs. Another drop flies in from the side. There's a Templar. The Templar comes out. Another Templar comes out. And he gets 3 storms off. The last storm doesn't hit anything at all, but he kills 16 SCVs. And Hrae, who was already so very low on SCVs, and losing SCVs to the first drop, is now even poorer than he was before. And these Zealots here in the front, and the Templars are just gonna fight these siege tanks. Oh, there's way too many units there for these Zealots to kill. This is really brave from Hrae to go for the counterattack, even though there's no way the counterattack is gonna work because he has no means of production at all. So all it takes from 458 is to pump out a bunch of zealots repeatedly and slowly whittle down these Goliaths. Hrae just tried to micro his Goliaths, and he does it pretty well, but this is definitely not enough. So it's only a matter of time before 458 completely overruns his opponent Hrae. Hrae microing back really nicely, actually. This is actually a really nice micro from those Goliaths, and he does end up killing all of the zealots that 458 threw at him. But this is a huge loss for Hrae, because now Hrae is on way less units than he would have been if he just sat in his base and camped it out. And Gam, yeah, he pretty much tried to do something that was never going to work. He threw away his units without having the means of replacing them. Whereas 458 can just throw out units continuously and replace them really quickly because he has really good income. Which Hrae definitely does not have at all. Because Hrae has 7 SCPs on that side and a little bit over 12 on the other side, and there is a drop flying in, but he decides to pull back the shuttle because he sees the Goliaths. The Goliaths take down the Corsair that was protecting the shuttle. So now he's just gonna go for the frontal attack instead, because he knows that Hrae has all of the units situated on the side and hasn't been able to produce a lot of units because of his very low income, and he takes down the shuttle with really nice focus on the shuttle from the Goliaths, but he has to pull back the Goliaths back all the way to his main, to the protection of his tanks. But 458 breaks in through the front. The Templars are now turning into Archons, and he places down a lot of mines. It's really beautiful. The mines making it harder for 458 to go in there. And it's actually a really nice little bottleneck that forces all of 458's units to clump up together, making it way more effective for the tanks to fire on them with all the splash damage that they can provide. And he's trying to fly in through the side. Drops down. The Templar gets dropped down, but technically immediately dies due to siege tank shots. But because of that, a bunch of zealots do get in a little bit closer to the tanks, to the main. All of the tanks have now died, and Hrae is now relying on using vultures to make to drop mines inside of his choke and on the lower side of his base, hoping that those will be enough to buy himself time against the units that 458 is sending in. 458 has no drop ready just yet. He stopped building his base and stopped producing probes. 458 is smaller than he could have been if he had continued producing probes, but maybe he thought that he could end Hrae's life with that attack just now. So Hrae is actually able to rebuild his base and camp this one out. I really expected 458 to be a little bit bigger at this point in the game. Maybe there's a mistake that 458 made. 458 is flying in his second drop, but all the shuttles get broken down by the Goliaths, although the Templar does get a really beautiful storm up on the Goliaths, and 4 Goliaths go down to the storm, which is pretty good for 458, but also pretty bad for 458 because the drop ended up doing no damage to the minerals at all. And Hrae is really beautiful using his vultures to lay down mines, stopping the advancement from 458 into his base, although the units eventually do get into the base of Hrae, but most of the units have gone down to the spider mines. Now he's just going to try to walk in between the tanks and have the tanks splash damage onto each other, which they actually do quite do, but Hrae decides to prepare his units. 458 landing the Dragoons on the hill, trying to take down that cannon. He's going to take down these turrets from hill, and Hrae is going to have to move a tank somewhere around here to take these Dragoons down and prevent him from taking all the shells that Hrae has on the side. There's a Corsair who's going to finish off his barrack. The barrack dying would stop Hrae from being able to produce any more factories. And there's more Dragoons being dropped on the side here, just keeping Hrae busy, stopping him from focusing on the things he wants to focus on, and instead making him focus on defending and splitting up his attention, which should give 458 a little opening to attack from the front with his Dragoons and his Zealots. And there are almost no more mines left inside of Choke defending. And there, I don't think anything was inside those shuttles. Maybe he tried to drop units on top of the... No, there was nothing in there. 458 has stopped going for the drops and is completely committing to sending out gateway units into the front of Hrae's base. Hrae has a lot of siege tanks in the back there that have a single weapon upgrade. 458 is on 2 weapon upgrades for his ground, and a couple of zealots do get into the range of the tank, manage to stab them a little with their magic laser swords, and the drop flies in from the side that 458 just cleared up all the turrets with, and he gets 2 storms off, and the storms kill, I think, about 12 or 16 SCVs, as the SCVs had to escape through 2 storms. But the Templar, I wanted to click on it, I didn't get to click on it, didn't get to see how many he killed. Hrae now building a wall of depots, planting down more mines. These zealots just walking in all the way, and another drop comes down and he kills all the SCVs of Hrae. I missed the drop. But Hrae realizes that at this point the game is completely over because he has no income, and 458 is just able to grab out units and send them in continuously from the front, and another drop is already flying in. Just non-stop drops. Non-stop frontal attacking, and Hrae, losing way too many SCVs, has to call the GG because there's no way to come back from this one. Although it was really beautifully played by him. Just the couple of mistakes of not pulling his SCVs away from his minerals. That's all it takes for a protoss to potentially win a game, is the Terran not securing his SCVs from getting stormed by the storm drops. So yeah, a nice game from Hrae. Also a nice game from 458, although 458 really held back on spending his minerals as optimally as he could. Maybe he just didn't produce enough probes, but his ability to really quickly send out drops and control his units very well wins him the game. 458 has to tap out. It's a GG. Thanks for watching. This is it for today. Beautiful game between 458 and Hrae.